Welcome PE Magazine readers, both NSPE members and non-members alike, to this demonstration of the video game Trove, which is of course part of our September-October cover story, Playing Engineers. If you haven't checked that out yet, I recommend it, although I did write it, so maybe I'm a little biased, as well as the other videos in this series that we're doing. But with that said, let's dive in and show you guys a little bit of what the game Trove is like. Trove is actually a pretty new game. It came out in July of this year, and it combines elements, really, of both massively multiplayer online role-playing games like World of Warcraft and resource gathering and building games like Minecraft. As you can see, I've just flown my Candy Barbarian over to one of Trove's many dungeons. This one in the Candyland-like realm Candy Barbarians are actually from. You can see that there are a lot of hazards, things like fire, which I just did a poor job of dodging, and enemies like these peppermint-looking insects that we're fighting off. And if you take a look at the top right next to the little castle like icon, you can see our objective for this dungeon, the boss that we're supposed to track down, that we're kind of working our way towards. And there he is. Let's take him down. Oh, nice dodge there. That was really good. And it seems like I'm making pretty quick work of him here. Almost got it. Just some of those swords. Good job. And let's find here, there's our loot chest, pretty common to all role-playing games. Get some sweet loot for our character. And that's essentially a dungeon in Trove. You make your way through, fight a boss, grab some loot, have a good day. Next up, let's take a look at some of the resource gathering that makes building possible in the game. I've now got my Boomer Ranger flying over the neon Tron-like world in Trove, and I'm gonna switch into mining and building mode and use my mining laser to start collecting some basic building blocks, which you can see on the bottom right going into my inventory. And then to the left here, I'm gonna start collecting some primordial flames, which are one of many unique blocks that produce ores and other things that you use for crafting in the game. Crafting with these materials actually allows you to make a greater variety of building blocks in the game, as well as items like bombs, which makes collecting resources a lot easier. Next up, I'm going to show you all how to actually build something in Trove. Nothing too complex, but the basics at least. Here you can see my pirate captain hanging out with his parrot on a cornerstone pad. Cornerstones are essentially home bases players can summon on any cornerstone pad while they're out adventuring by clicking E here at the sign with a question mark on it. As you can see from a distance, my Candy Barbarian has made a pretty cool creamsicle shaped base, which my pirate captain isn't too happy about, so I think what we're going to do for him is build a nice crow's nest on top. So we'll head up through the creamsicle here. While we're making our way through the creamsicle, I think I'll actually stop off in one of the rooms really quickly and show you the machines that allow you to take the resources you've collected and turn them into more colorful or interesting building materials. As you can see here, there's a lot of different varieties, glowing, metallic, etc. And a lot of recipes I don't have. Recipes are something you collect going out into dungeons, which kind of blends the two elements of MMORPG and resource collecting and building games again. And then here's another machine, obviously, with some other interesting blocks that you can make. So let's head on up, though, and start building this crow's nest. I'm going to need to switch into my mining and building mode here again and select a block from the bottom toolbar. I've selected the dark brown, and you'll see that there's a transparent brick there. That shows me where they're going to go when I choose to place them, and we'll put one on the side here so I can get a little higher with my crow's nest. Later on, I'll go back and use my mining laser that I used earlier while collecting resources to destroy those blocks on the side so that I have a nice straight pole for my crow's nest. And I'll also, like with the mining, get those resources back. So those blocks will go back in my inventory. Something else that I can do up here, and I'll try and demonstrate in a moment, I'm having a little trouble with aiming the blocks right now, is you can drag your mouse across the screen and lay down multiple blocks at a time, which is really helpful when building large structures like the creamsicle. Definitely took advantage of that. You can typically get up to maybe 8 blocks at a time. I'm not sure the exact number, so let's try here to get 2. Try again. There we go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and jump down and get rid of these, as I said before, and then I think I'm just gonna speed up the game a little bit so that we can show you the finished product. And there you go, a nice crow's nest for my pirate captain. And with that, we've covered the basics of the video game Trove. Obviously, there's not a lot of real-world physics or engineering principles in this particular game, but what it lacks in those areas, it more than makes up for by providing a fun, creative outlet for building, full of color and endless possibilities, similar to Lego bricks. Before I end this video demonstration, I'd just like to say thank you for joining me, and if you haven't already, I hope you'll join me for my other demonstrations of the video games Space Engineers and Polybridge. Thanks a lot.